Hi there, I'm Egfer and welcome to the channel. And today I'm going to show you this farm here. It's been quite a while since I've done a video, and that's because I've been working on this farm doing lots of design and testing, and I'm very happy with the results. So this is a bone meal farm based on moss, and it's the fastest bone meal farm in any edition of the game from a single moss block. So I think it's a really good thing. So those of you who may have followed my channel for a while probably know that I invented the flour-based bone meal farm in 1.14 and then the Nylium-based bone meal farm in 1.16. I didn't invent this one. Moss-based bone meal farms have existed in Java before the mechanics came to Bedrock. But this is my version and I'm really pleased with it. So there is a good question though. Given that there are Nylium farms and moss-based farms, which should you build? And the answer is in this slide here. Okay, so I've been charting the difference between lag on a moss-based farm, my moss-based farm in fact, and Nylium farm. And bear in mind that I've done this on my PC. It's a pretty fast gaming PC. I did my testing in a void world, so you won't get exactly these figures, but it shows you relatively which is best, okay? And what I've done is I've measured server time, which is something you can see in the beta version of the game at the top of the screen, and that's kind of the same as MSPT, which is milliseconds per tick. The more milliseconds per tick, the worse. If it goes over 50, your game is going to be lagging, but this farm is, in a void world, is well below that, as is the Nylium farm. And what I've tested here is two of my moss farms. They produce 10.6k per hour, and one of my Nylium farms producing 7.8. And as you go from the bottom left to the top right of this chart, that means more lag effectively. And you can see here, this line, which is the Nylium farm, has a lot more points over on this side compared to the moss farm. So actually, from a lag perspective, the moss farm is much better. You'll get better rates for less lag. If you just want lots and lots of bone meal, I probably recommend this moss-based farm. This is the world download I'll be providing, and it's got 6 copies of the moss farm in it. And the idea is you can test, therefore, how many you're able to run at a time within your world, and I'll switch them off before I give you the world download. I've also got 2 copies of the Nylium farm, so you could compare those as well, okay? So there is one caveat, which I haven't mentioned yet, about the moss farm, and it's that it's not completely reload proof. So you can sometimes get away with it, but sometimes when you reload, it will generate cobble. And that's because I'm using this stone generator here, which is moving very, very fast. It's doing something called lava ticking. These pistons will update the lava, cause it to flow faster, and generate stone quicker. But sometimes that can go wrong and create cobblestone. Now, I've AFK'd at these for hours and hours and hours. It doesn't do it during normal running whilst you're here. But during a reload, then it can sometimes create cobblestone. If it does, you've got 2 options. In fact, you can come over here and you can break the cobblestone because they'll get pushed to the middle. But the best thing to do is probably to shut off the farm when you go away. Bear in mind, the Nylium farms don't suffer from that problem. These are fully reload proof. So if you want something that you can have running all the time, then the Nylium farm might be the thing for you as well. These, by the way, together produce 31,800 bone meal per hour. That's pretty good. Okay, so with that out of the way, I just want to say that I'm not going to go to the mechanics today because it's already a really long video. I'm building this in survival for you just to help you to build it. I'm also producing a world download that'll be linked in the description down below, and a structure as well, if you know what that is. So they'll be there. If you do want to know more about the mechanics, Silent Whisperer has done a pretty good job of describing those, as has Ilmango. So I'll link both their videos and you can check out the mechanics from them.
Okay, so let's dive straight in.
I've got a large chest here which has all the things that you need to build a farm. You don't need the yellow wool, and these blocks of iron I'm using are to make the farm clearer, how we're building it, but you can use a different solid block. However, the following can be turned into moss within the farm, so it's best to avoid them: stone, granite variants, diorite variants, andesite variants, tough, deep slate, and all kinds of dirt, including podzol and mycelium and rooted dirt, etc. Okay, so cobblestone, for example, is perfectly fine. Try to avoid those ones, the other stone variants I said before. These kelp items down here are just used for a hopper clock, so it could be any old stackable 64 item that you've got that's cheap for you. Okay. Okay, so I've grabbed most stuff from my chest except for the water buckets, the rubbish items for our hopper clock, and the bone meal, which we'll need at the end. Okay, and I've marked out a chunk corner here, and that chunk goes off in this direction and this direction. So this is the chunk where we're going to build in. And do remember, you have to chunk align this farm. If you don't chunk align it, it won't work properly. Okay, so do chunk align it, please. And I'm going to start off on this corner, and I'm going to come up by 6 blocks. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to put a yellow wool block here. You don't have to, you could just use any block you like. But this is just to mark our chunk corner and help us orientate ourselves during the making of this farm. Okay. So now I'm going to build a platform which is 7 across this way and 6 across this way. This is our first block. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's our first block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I want to extend the platform. So this is our starting point. I'm going to extend the platform out this way by another 7 blocks. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Make that too wide. We could do the same on this side. And then fill in the last 3 blocks along here. So we end up with a 2x4 hole. Okay. And in that hole, I'm going to grab some stairs. I'm going to place them against this back wall here. I'm going to take the fall damage, drop down. And all I want to do is put blocks underneath the stairs and stairs on those blocks. And we're just going to kind of do that all the way down. Okay. Come back upstairs. Turn around this side. And here, on this block by the stair, I want to pillar up another 5 blocks. There we go. Grab your ladder. And we're going to place ladder down here just to get down as safely as we can. Fill in that gap at the bottom. And that'll allow us to get up to our upper platform later on. For now though, remembering where we started from over there, in the opposite corner, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. And from the 5th block, we're going to make a 5x2 platform coming out this way. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 2. And this is going to contain a dropper just here. And I'm going to create an auto dropper circuit, which will pump out our bone meal for us as it gets created. So for that, I need a comparator, repeater, comparator. Click on this to light the torch, put it into subtract mode. Then grab some redstone dust and put that going round from the front through to the side of the comparator. Another one going backwards, a repeater here, and a solid block here with dust on top of it. That should look like this. Both your repeater on 1 tick. Your front comparator has the front torch lit. Okay. From here now, we're going to make a 5x4 starting from this block. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to build a few little extra blocks around the sides. So behind the comparator, 1 here. On this side, 1, 2, 3. And then finally on the back, 1 here. So it should look like that. Bit of a funny shape. But this is where we're going to do our collection, our composting, and we're going to make all of our bone meal. So this is a really important part of the farm. So we talked about having a dropper here. And in fact, I'm actually going to have a tower of 3 droppers, all facing upwards towards me. And down here, I'm now going to grab my hoppers. Now I'm going to do 2 hopper lines. I'm going to do one going to that side of a dropper, one going to that side of a dropper. That's just to make sure we don't get any backlog in the farm. And I want to run these back this way. So they're all in line, all pointing into there. Then come back along this way and jump up here. And you want one more facing into the side of this one from that back extension. One here, skip one, one here. And that's that first hopper line done. The second one is going to go into this hopper. Then we're going to come back 3 this way, another 2 this way, and then 3 this way. Okay, so you end up with this hopper layout with kind of like a T shape in the middle with no hoppers. And we're going to put composters on top of all of these, with the exception of these 2 here and this one opposite the gap on the other side. Okay, so shift click these composters onto here. Just going to jump up and finish it off. There we go. So we've missed out those 2. We've missed out this one. And then I just need to put hoppers on top of all of these composters pointing straight down. Okay. We're going to have a water stream going around here. And that water stream is going to carry all of our moss items and make sure they end up in a hopper and get turned into bone meal. So we need some ice to make that water stream work. And I also want to fill this gap in the middle. So I'm going to put a glass block against this hopper here, one on top, and just come back 2 to fill that gap. Then here we're going to use buttons above the ice on the side of this glass block, both sides. Okay, so at the moment that's fine. Our water streams will carry the items and they'll fall off the edge. We don't really want that, so I'm going to place a block there. I'm going to use a chest here, and that chest does 2 things. It stops the items falling off, but it also, because it's got a slightly smaller hitbox than a normal block, so that's why I can see through here, it'll line the items right on the edge of this hopper here. They'll go along there and they get picked up by both of these hoppers, and the same will happen on this side, get picked up by both of these sets of hoppers. That's why we're using chests here to do that. We're going to do that on all 4 corners so that our items can't escape. Oops, shift clicking. There we go. That should look like this. Our water can still escape off the sides here though, so I need to grab my buttons again, and we're going to finish off just by putting a button on all of these hoppers on the edges. And there we go. So whilst I'm down here, I'm going to build one of the main clocks for the farm, and this is the clock that determines when we flush the farm. So place a block on top of that button, a block to the side of it, and a comparator on top of each of those. Jump up. It's a bit fiddly, but you want a block on the front of that comparator. Another one here. We're going to put redstone torches on top of those 2. And then you want a block behind this comparator as well. Another one next to it. Comparators facing the opposite way on top of those. Then I'm going to put a solid block above the chest there, and a hopper facing into that block. Break that, I don't need it. And then another hopper pointing back this way into that one. Blocked off each of those. A redstone torch on top of this one, and a solid block on top of there. So that's our clock nearly done. I want one more block here with a hopper facing into it. Break that block, and then another hopper facing back the other way. That's it. Okay. And then just pop down here, going to grab that. And we're going to, I think we're going to go and get some items to put into this hopper clock and also our water streams. And let's see how much space we've got in our inventory. Yeah, perfect. So I just need a way of getting back up here. So I'm going to place a block just there for now. And jump back up here. Okay, so this lower set of hoppers, all I want in there is one item. I'm going to use, I don't know, a bit of glass for that. And in this top set of hoppers, I want 5 stacks of items like that. Okay, and I'll just go backwards and forwards and do its stuff for the time being, and then we'll connect it up to something else when we're ready. Okay, water. Let's make sure that our water streams are correctly configured. So remember, I'm going to put one above, after the ice, on this side, against the glass. Don't put it against the hopper because it'll waterlog the hopper. Just there. That's going around nicely. And then after the ice on this side as well. Just like that. Perfect. Let's have a look at our work. Which has something that looks like this now. Okay. So that was one of the clocks for the farm. I'm going to build another one now, and this is the main controlling clock. And first of all, I just want to build myself a little staircase up like that. And then put 2 blocks here, 2 blocks, 1 block underneath that one, and come out by 1. We can go to this. Grab some redstone dust, and we're going to put it against the side of this block. And that actually places it on top of there, okay? Another block into the side of that redstone dust. Then just fill those out like that. Okay, let's pop up here. I want redstone dust on these 2 blocks with a repeater here. That's going to be on 2 ticks. A block above the redstone. Around here, and you want a redstone torch on the other side of that block. Redstone here. A repeater just there, this time on 3 ticks. And a solid block in front of that. And that makes a clock. Okay. So coming back down here, I'm going to put a lever just there, and I'm going to put a redstone torch just here for the time being. Come around this side, grab a sticky piston, and grab my observers as well. Sticky piston against this block here. You'll see that comes back and forwards. If I pull my lever, that stops the clock for the time being. Come back up here onto the piston, and we're going to place the observer facing downwards, so it's powering upwards like that. Grab some solid blocks and put one on the observer, one on the piston arm, and I want another 2 coming out this way, and 1 up here like that. We're going to put redstone dust on each of these 4 down here, and I'm going to put a torch on the top of here. Then I want 1 more block just there, and I want a torch on there. These 2 torches are kind of above each other but on opposite sides. Okay. Now place a block above this torch. Place another redstone torch just here. So next to the lever underneath this torch, come out about 2 blocks, and we can break this block, we don't need it. Then come up here, and I want redstone dust on there. Over. I want a block going into the side of that redstone dust, like so. Redstone dust on top of there, and a torch just here. So what you'll see here is I've got these 2 torches, this one and this one, both powering this redstone dust when they're on. And when this torch goes off, this one will come on, but it comes on 1 tick later, and that means that I now get a 1 tick off pulse from my clock over here. What I want to do is go and work on our top platform, and just before I do that, I'm going to place a block above this redstone dust in front of a comparator, and we're going to use that in a moment to place a dropper from above, and it's a bit tricky to place otherwise, so it's the best way of doing it. Okay, so for top of the ladder, come out 1, 2 blocks, and then the next block along is going to be the corner of a 7x7 platform. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Whilst I'm here, I'm going to place my dropper. There we go. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm going to fill most of this in, but with a couple of exceptions. So this is the middle line here, and I want to come 1, 2 in that way, and only 1 in that way. So I'm leaving this gap in the middle there. So it's the center block and one other block kind of facing towards where our clocks are. Okay. Just here, grab a normal piston, place that. And this piston is going to be breaking items on top of the moss block. So the moss block will be directly underneath this hole here. And when you bone meal it, form items on top of the moss, we need to break those, otherwise it doesn't create more moss next time. So that piston's going to do that for us. Next, we want to extend this platform out at this side by 3 blocks, all the way along. Same on this side. Now, on the other 2 sides, I only want to extend it, I want a 3 wide platform. So I'm going to start from the middle block opposite the hole. I'm going to come out this way and just build 3 wide platform by 3 long, just like that. Same on the other side. Then you need pistons, normal pistons, not sticky pistons. And we're going to place those on the furthest away glass block on our platform extensions that we built. Then behind every piston, put a solid block. On top of every piston, put a glass block. Okay, and next thing we want to do is we want to start to just close off our sides of these pistons as well. Before I do that, I'm going to break these 2 blocks that we use for bridging across, but only those for now. And I'm going to take, so let's orient ourselves. Facing the same way as the piston is, I'm going to start over here. And I'm going to come on the side of that piston forwards to the edge of the platform, and then come across that way, like so. And we can do that on this side as well. This side is going to be a little bit different because we're going to be flushing items off our platform, and they're going to fall down here into this, above this hopper. And to make sure they fall down properly, I want to place 2 more blocks up going this way, 1 block above the glass of the button and 1 block above the button. So there's still space obviously underneath there for items to flow, no problem at all. But I'm going to leave this gap here. So I actually want to come up there and go from the side of this piston forwards like that, making sure I leave that gap. This one we could do normally, as we have done for the others. There we go. And I just talked about flushing the platform. So we are going to have to flush the platform. I'm going to use dispensers with water buckets inside to do that. And we need to arrange them. So again, we're flushing down into there. So we're going to have to be along this side here and this side here. So I'm going to go to the middle, and I'm going to place down a block here and come up 4 blocks. He says coming up 3 blocks. 4 blocks. You can break the middle too. And you want a dispenser on top of this bottom block, 1 on this side and 2 on this side. So you have more dispensers on the side facing the hole we're flushing to. Then put an observer facing down here. That'll power actually 3 of them, but we need to power this one at the edge as well, so we can put another observer just there. Go to this block. Go to this block. And we'll do the same on this side. Go to the middle block at the front of the glass here and go 1, 2, 3, 4 this time. Break the middle 2. Dispenser, 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 and 1 extra one on the side towards where we're flushing. Okay. Observer, observer. Break this. Break this. Okay. Right, more glass I think now. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this up by another layer. We're going to close this off at this level here. Before I do that, let me go and grab that item. Yeah, so we're going to come across like this. And across like this from those dispensers. Now here I want to do something a little bit different because I want to weigh out of my farm. So I'm only going to come across 3 and I'm going to leave a gap here for the time being. And then here I want to be 2 feet high like that. Now bring glass across here. So we're leaving a gap underneath here because we're going to be generating stone at this level here. It'll get pushed out, and it gets pushed out onto the platform under this gap here. Okay. And we could do that same on this side. On this side it's covered by the dispensers, that's fine. On this side it's covered by dispensers, and we've added some more glass, so that's fine as well. Okay, let's jump up here. So to power our dispensers, we're going to use these observers, and I'm going to build up again a little bit higher around here. And I'm going to get some powered rail. And the powered rail is going to come on top of these observers down to this corner. So that's 5 in a row. And then this way, I just want 1, 2, 3. Then grab a target block. 1 there. 1 there. And then come around here, break this glass and replace it with another dispenser. So this dispenser is going to do the corner, and it's 1 higher than all the other 8. Okay. Place redstone dust on top of there. And when we power this redstone dust, it'll power both these target blocks, power all of the rail, trigger the observers, and basically all the dispensers will get fired. So what we're going to use to do that? Well, we are going to use an observer. And I don't need that one. So I'm going to put an observer facing away from me, so it's powering into its target block. I don't need that. And then come out to this way. You can break this one. And come back onto this target block because we want to place a sticky piston pointing back towards me here. So when you power the sticky piston, the observer will move, it'll power the redstone dust. When it unpowers, it'll go back and it'll power target block, which will also power redstone dust, and that will both fire the dispensers and then suck the water back in again afterwards. Let's go back down to the bottom and our ladder here. Take these items. What I want to do now is I want to grab my water buckets and my lava buckets, and I'm also going to build a little, probably down here, a little infinite water source. So we put water in one corner, water in the opposite corner, create an infinite water source, and I can just collect that now. Fill up my buckets again. So what we're going to do is we're going to waterlog all of these pistons. So to do that, it's probably best if I get as many buckets into my hotbar as I can. There we go. So we're going to waterlog that one. We do this all the way along, and I'm going to have to go back and refill my buckets a couple of times as I go. Okay, so that's it. All of our pistons are waterlogged. Grab some lava buckets, and I need 4 in total. And on the glass above the center piston on each side, we're going to place lava. But before we do that, we're going to make sure it's not going to escape. So what I want to do is grab some more glass and put it around these sides here where the lava might be going. Just make sure that it's all covered up. So I think we're all okay on those sides. It was just this one that needed a bit of extra. Then place your lava here. And what will happen is it'll fall onto the water below. It'll convert it to stone. That'll stop the water falling that way. And again, the middle block here. The middle one here. And the middle one here. And you can see the stone having been generated there, and then all of the water stops. Now I want to put glass above all of the lava because I don't want to fall in, and I don't want any items to fall in either. So there we go. And over this side as well. Okay, and we are going to do a little bit of tidying up and just kind of bring this up. But for now, I want to make sure I've got ways of getting in and around the farm more easily. Okay, so next thing we probably want to do is we want to put some items into some buckets into our dispensers. So I want a bucket in each of our 9 dispensers. So that's all of our dispensers now got buckets in, and they'll be able to push water out to push our moss blocks down here. Okay, next thing I want to do, I'm going to come over this side, and I want to put a block, a solid block, into the side of this torch here. Come along 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. So this is again powered by this torch underneath, and I'm going to put a repeater just here on 4 ticks. Then redstone dust here and here. 2 comparators in a row. 2 comparators going back the other way. Solid block in front of this one, and then a redstone dust just here. So that creates a pulse extender, and that's what we're going to use to power this block over there, which is going to fire our water down. Okay, so let me come over here. I can now extend this, and I'm going to use I'll use glass. So I want this to go 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. Okay, it's got to be exactly 4 redstone dust. Don't fiddle with that because it will change of timings. So then a repeater here on 1 tick. And then we're just going to run blocks along here and into there. Okay. So for the time being, I don't want to quite finish this off. I'm going to leave a gap there so that I don't actually get water coming out onto my platform yet. So the next thing to do is probably to put in our pistons down here. We're going to need a bazillion pistons. Well, 44 to be precise. And the pistons are going to be used to break any moss items that grow on top of the platform. And that's really important because if you don't do that, you don't get more moss in those areas. So the stone is going to be the platform. It's going to get pushed out at this level. I'm then going to have my moss items grow at this level, and my pistons are going to be here, push down and break those. So what I want to do is I want to cover essentially the whole platform with these pistons facing down, except for the middle block and each of these 4 corner blocks. Okay, so that means I'm going to come along this way. I'm going to leave this one free. I'm going to come along this way and leave this one free. My last pistons go like that. And I should be able to get out of this corner. Oh, it's good. Okay, target block. The target block goes here next to this other one. And then we're basically going to spam redstone dust on the rest of the pistons everywhere. Okay. So I don't think there's any reason for us to go back down there now. So we can fill this hole in like this. Now I'm going to just do a little bit of tidying up as well. I'm just going to build up along here, making sure I don't block this hole, but I can block it at... yeah, so I can cover this up like this and like this. So that all looks nice and neat now. We just left the holes in the corners free, and that's quite useful to be able to see down. Yeah, just do that one as well. Okay. Up here then, I want another target block with a torch on it, and this torch will power all of that redstone dust, extend all of the pistons right up to this corner. Then I'm going to put a repeater just here on 1 tick. I'm going to run redstone dust back along here this way. Like so. And I'm going to join it up with this pulse extender using another repeater facing back this way. And I want some solid blocks along here, like so. Then just join all of that up. So what happened now is that when the pulse extender comes on, this will power. It'll power this block, turn off the torch. It'll disable all of the pistons whilst our water is flushing, because we don't want the pistons moving whilst the water's flushing, because it can mess up your dispensers. They'll drop their buckets rather than dropping water. Okay, come back down this way. So I want a block behind the target block here. Then I want to come down like this and like this. So into the side that redstone dust. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put redstone on top of each of these. Like that. So that has now unpowered this torch, and therefore all of our pistons. But when the clock's going, it'll turn them back on again. Okay, we're making really good progress now. Let's go back down and have a look where we are. This block that plays temporarily to help me with that dropper can go now. We don't need that. And what I'm going to do is, because we've got no moss in this moss farm yet, that seems like a bit of a problem. So I'm going to put a block underneath the piston. I'm going to make a C shape out round this way. Okay, come back over here, and looking up at this block there, I want my last dispenser up here. So facing sideways. And this is where my moss block goes. Okay. So that dispenser will be firing bone meal into that moss block. And what I want is my hopper facing into there and a hopper facing into here. Okay. So how are we going to get bone meal into these things? Well, the bone meal comes out of this dropper here. And it's kind of safe on a couple of sides at the moment. I need to make sure that it goes where I want it to go. I'm going to put a block here. I'm going to put a block, let's see, here. Grab more glass. And I want this to come out this way, like so. And along here. So it flows over this hopper. Close off this side, that hopper. I'm going to close off here and here. Oops. Trying to fall off. Right, so where are we? So yeah, so I'm going to bring this along there like that. And there like that. So hopefully that gives me a water stream which will carry my bone meal along over the top of this hopper here and then turn sideways like this. Okay, and we'll sort out what we do with this bit in a little while. Okay, so I need water in there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a block down here. I'm just going to pillar up. Because we talked about our chests having a smaller hitbox than a normal block. That means I can get in here, just avoid the chest, just to the left of it. Shift clicking onto there. Break these back again. Don't need those. The water's all contained, that's good. Perfect. Right. So nothing's operating these things at the moment yet, and we need to fix that problem. So I'm going to place a line of redstone dust, line of blocks along there. This block, remember, has got the piston above it. So I just want a line of blocks along here. And where are we? So I'm going to come down here like this. From this torch. So it's to the side of that torch. And I'm going to join that up with this here. With a solid block there and redstone dust there. Sorry, I keep saying redstone dust. A solid block there as well. Right, let's pop up top. See what I can see. Go up here. I want a repeater just there. I want a target block behind this dispenser, or sorry, to the side of the dispenser. Just, can I reach from here? Just, yep, just there. And I want redstone dust going along the top of all of these. So there. So that redstone dust is going to power the target block, which will power the dispenser. It also powers this hopper down here, this dropper down here. And that makes all of bone meal recycle. The last bit we need to do, and if I can just find a good way of getting there, there might not be one. Let's pop up here. I need a repeater, and it's going to be on 2 ticks just here. And then small redstone dust just there. Get rid of these. So starting here, this is our kind of main clock and the chunk corner down there. My row 3 pistons. I'm going to come across this way. And what I want to do is join up with this line behind here. Put 3 redstone dust behind the pistons. Put a 1 tick repeater there. And a torch just here. The rest of this can be redstone dust all the way along to there. Come back up here. And if I pop down here, I'm going to extend this by 2 and put redstone dust on those. And along here, then I'm going to extend this line along around here. Around that corner like that. And what I want to do is I want to bring this here, this here. I want a repeater just there. And we put redstone dust around like that. And I should be able to jump across that corner. Failed. This is why I don't do parkour videos. So let's come down this way. Yeah, so redstone dust behind all of that. So I'll power these ones as well. And then, should we try again? Whilst we're here, let's fill in this extra piece there. And what we're going to want is redstone dust top of the ladder here. Then I'm going to place a solid block just here. And I'm going to come round like this and a solid block just there. Torch on this one. And redstone dust. So top of my ladder, redstone dust on those 2. So now we can go and actually turn the farm on by turning this clock on, and we'll see how fast this stone generates. So there we go. That's all that done. So I've gone to a chest and grabbed all the bone meal. And we put the bone meal into this hopper here. Let's go and have a look what's happening up here. Okay, there's all our moss generating. Last thing we need to do then is a little bit of a collection system, and I'm going to, let's see, we're going to have stuff coming out here. So I'm going to put a couple of blocks there. This collection system will not last you very long. So if you're not going to recycle this bone meal into another farm, then you'd make a bigger collection system than this. Of course, you've got space down below as well. So I'm just going to put a hopper there, and I'm going to place a glass block above here. And then I need to quickly break this glass and place a hopper there. Okay, so I've configured this farm so that it starts to give you bone meal pretty much straight away. However, it won't be up to full speed until this hopper gets completely full and this dropper gets completely full. And when they're both full, you'll be getting 5,300 bone meal per hour from this farm. This farm took a long time to design and to build and to test. So I'd really appreciate if you enjoyed watching this video. I know it was a long one. Do give me a sub, do give me a like, and put some comments down in the comments below, because I always like to hear how you get on with the builds. Alrighty, thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.